What's going on, guys? Hey, it's Bongface with you. Today I wanted to bring you this story about Mr. Fetterman, Quasimodo himself. He had a little scare on Wednesday whenever he was rushed to the hospital. Now, they did every test and study that they could on this creature while he was in the hospital, George Washington University to be exact, in D.C. And they couldn't really find anything wrong with him. So he was released on Friday, and they said that he will return to the Senate on Monday. Now, last year he had a stroke during the campaign, and if you guys, I'm sure any of you watching this pay attention, you've seen the debate between him and Dr. Oz. And now I live in Pennsylvania, so being close to this, I could see the writing on the wall before it even happened that Dr. Oz didn't stand a chance. I dislike John Fetterman, but he has a very recognized name around Pennsylvania. He's like the Pittsburgh Kid. So anyone from around that area is very familiar with John Fetterman. Dr. Oz, although he has nationwide recognition, Pennsylvania, he doesn't hold any weight. And even though Fetterman can't string together a sentence, Dr. Oz didn't really stand a chance. So we're stuck with him. I'm sorry I didn't vote for him, but you can blame me as a Pennsylvanian. We'll check out this story here, and then we'll talk about it a little bit after this.
News literally just as we have been on the air here a couple of minutes ago. A spokesperson for Senator John Fetterman says he has been discharged from the hospital. So he is out of the hospital, the Pennsylvania Democrat, set to be back at work on Monday. Senator Fetterman has been spending the last couple of nights at a hospital here in Washington after feeling lightheaded earlier this week. He was tested over the past couple of days to see if he had potentially had a second stroke. He was monitored for seizures. His spokesperson is saying all those tests have come back normal. Remember, Senator Fetterman had a stroke when he was on the campaign trail last year. So this health scare is renewing some questions about how he's doing, transparency, et cetera. I want to bring in now Ali Vitale. And Ali, Senator Fetterman still has auditory processing issues from that stroke. It is obviously significant and good news that he is out of a hospital, that apparently doctors have ruled out a stroke, seizures. He's okay to come back to work.
Yeah, and in a tweet, his spokesman says that he's going to be back in the Senate on Monday. And so that is good news in terms of his overall health, the fact that he can come back to work. They also say in this tweet that just came out in the last 2 minutes that he had a CT, a CTA, and MRI tests done. All of that is what ruled out another stroke, but that also his EEG test results came back normal. So that's how they ruled out any potential for seizures. And you're right, he spent the last 2 nights in a hospital here in D.C. This came on seemingly very suddenly during the Democratic retreat on Wednesday. And as you mentioned, he left when he felt lightheaded, told his staff, they drove him to the hospital. And of course, there's a heightened sense of concern anytime someone who's recovering from a stroke begins to feel those symptoms. Makes sense why he went to the hospital and why they were so keen and clear in their observation of him.
Would it be standard operating procedure in a moment like this, Ali, to release those doctor's notes, that information?
I think that's where this goes next. And it mimics the conversations that were had on the campaign trail, where you want to be sensitive to the candidate, now senator's health. Of course, them doing well is the paramount concern. But it's also then a question, once we establish that they are doing well enough and that he can come back to work on Monday, the question is, how does this work going forward? Can you provide us with some evidence of the fact that the doctors are, in fact, saying this? I think transparency is going to be really important. And look, since he's come to the Senate, this team has been clear about the fact that he has needed screens installed in the Senate chamber, in his hearing rooms, to allow him to understand information, because he needs a little bit of extra help with auditory processing still as he recovers from this stroke. Those accommodations have been made here in the Senate. Now, though, with this latest episode, there is a question of just needing to provide some transparency around it, both in this moment, in the immediate aftermath of him leaving the hospital, and then as things go forward. And there are still continued questions of how is he doing? How is his health?
Now, of course, everyone's going to want to know what the test results said and what his medical records look like. Now, they'll just do what the Potato Man did and they'll fluff his records up and say that he's the, pristine image of health and he's perfectly ready to serve. Meanwhile, they had to put every instrument and device in his office and in Senate chambers for him to even be able to function. And that's at a very low level. He still can barely speak. They don't really show him too often. You got to dig to find a speech that he gives. But his wife is his real backbone. She's the one that kind of pushes him. And you could see that he's not all there, but she stands like front and center. She wants to be the voice for him, which is good. That's what a wife should do. But you could see she has ulterior motives. You can see his health decline. Not that he was in great health before, but he was a pretty heavy dude. And you can see that this stroke and his health is declining. I don't know if it's because she's sucking all the energy out of him. If you look at her, she looks like a damn witch. No, I'm just joking, of course, but she looks evil. I don't know. She thinks she's something sexy. So I'll leave you guys with a little bit of a palate cleanser. Here's a sexy Senator Miss Boebert, and she's a gun nut kind of like myself, so I'll leave you with this. Anyways, I kind of was slacking on my videos there for a while. I kind of just lost interest in everything. I stopped paying attention to politics. Started watching all the Tim Pool drama and everything like that. And I was like, I got to get back to starting to making some news and showing people what's really going on. If you like what you've seen, please like and subscribe. This is Bongface, and I'm out of here. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Let's go, Brandon.